What I thought I would do today is touch on standards. So I'm on a standards board since last summer, and one of the main job that standards boards, along with a lot of other functions, is to make sure that members understand standards properly. So one of the forums that we have is members can ask questions, and that question can we make sure that we explain answers properly and then post it on the web. So I thought I'll touch on a couple of those questions and then take it from there. One of the questions that came up was, can we build a spreadsheet that is connected with either calculation report, conclusion of a value report, or is it not part of that? And the answer is, if you are using a professional judgment, then you have to follow standards. If you are not using a professional judgment, then Article 3C, which is connected with other services, applies. Overall, you have to follow ethics. Overall, you want to make sure that you follow ethics of our NACVA, the standards. But if you are applying or creating a spreadsheet where you're using a professional judgment, then you have to make sure that you follow development standard, reporting standard, and if it is calculation of value or conclusion of value. So two different aspects, professional judgment applied or not applied, and whether, how do you, what standards you do. This other question that was raised, which was, are we required to follow uniform standard of professional appraisals USPAP? And as our standard, NACVA standard, we don't have to follow USPAP. But so we follow NACVA standard, but we also have to follow any other standards or rules or regulation that applies in the jurisdiction that we are practicing. And so if it is USPAP, then we have to apply that. If there's something else that we have to apply that. But by our standard, we are not required to follow USPAP. So that's the second question. And one more that I have picked up is, can you build your own valuation approach or something that is not peer reviewed? As you know, NACVA doesn't require you to follow certain valuation methods or approaches. So it can be market approach or asset approach or income approach. You are supposed to look at all of that. You're supposed to look at some combination of that and then use your professional judgment to apply. It doesn't tell you whether you cannot use your own approach. What it does tell you is that somebody else of equal knowledge should be able to replicate. So you want to make sure that you describe your method completely, and somebody else should be able to replicate using your numbers. You can also use rule of thumb, but that's not one of the methods. So it can be just a reference point. And another thing that you have to keep in mind is, does this will this fly in the court or in some kind of a challenge? Usually it's hard to see your own, which is not a peer-reviewed approach. It's very hard to see. If it is explained well and other people can replicate it, you will be able to use it according to the standard. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of questions that came up and also encourage everybody to go and ask questions. If you have a question that's connected with standards, We take a lot of care to respond properly and quickly, and just raise it. The website, and there's a question that you can send to the board, and we will respond to it. So I wanted to show something else. Um, so we had a meeting last Thursday about all the topics connected with the professional standard body, and one of the questions that came up was the site was not really designed in a way where we can find things easily. And I'm very happy and impressed actually to report that it's redesigned. The page which is connected with professional standards is redesigned. And now, if you look, all the standards connected information is right there on the top. Standards board has spent a lot of energy coming up with the comparison chart between different evaluation organization standards and us. So USPAP or AICPA or SA, and that's right there up on the top. And then glossary of terms, which as you all know is not required for us to follow every term, but it's also there and its comparison chart is there. So have a look and check out the frequently asked question on the page, and hopefully we'll add more value on from the standards board.